or Twisted Monday Season 2, which is now well underway, we will be speedrunning the whole thing. By which I mean, it's probably going to be a shorter season. The first season was, I think, 60 consecutive weeks. Something like that. Can't guarantee it'll go that long, but also we are literally speedrunning in the sense that I'm going to practice speedruns for each and every game in the series. And my goal is to get under 30 minutes for every single one of these games. Now, in the case of Twisted Metal 1, that's trivial. I'm probably going to do that right now on my first ever attempt. On other games, that's going to be a very, very tall order. In some cases, it challenges the world record to get sub 30. So it might be a lofty goal overall, but we're going to grind our times down as low as possible. And we're going to do that not just on Monday, but every day that I am available. So most weekdays, possibly weekends, at 3 p.m. Twisted Metal speedrun practice. And at the end of a week, we'll switch games. Probably won't be in sequential order because one of the hardest games to do is Twisted Metal 2. I don't know if I want to throw myself into the deep end quite so early. At the end of a week, we'll see where we are. Hopefully it is below 30. Now, I'm also going to go on the easiest possible difficulty without using bosses. That's sort of my rule set, which puts me in a weird category because most speedruns are performed with bosses in many of the games. So we'll see. But I demonstrated that we're on easy difficulty. The next game deletes several levels if played on easy difficulty, which is unacceptable. So Twisted Metal 2, another reason it's going to be one of the hardest possible speedruns, it has to be played on normal difficulty. And it's my worst game in the series. So that's going to be brutal. The only balancing factor is the fact that I get to drive as Axel, who is ludicrously overpowered. And in this game, it is, as we can clearly see, Warthog that is most ludicrously overpowered. Virtually every submitted speedrun time is using Warthog in this game. So in order to be competitive and save myself some headaches, we too will be using Warthog. Now, like I said, sub 30 is trivial in this game. Sub 20 is quite attainable. The world record, under 10 minutes. So that's what we're competing with. I am not going to challenge the world record, not by a long shot. And that is perfectly fine. You don't go into a speedrun expecting to challenge the world record anytime soon. Although I did with Spider the video game, which I will also be attempting ongoing speedruns in my main speed game, Spider the video game, which is also a sub 30 goal. One of the things that makes Warthog here so ridiculously good is that ram damage is broken, literally broken. It's programmed poorly so that ramming enemies almost kills them outright. If you're a big enough vehicle, if you have a great enough disparity between your size and theirs. And few vehicles are larger than Warthogs. It's not permit Mr. Grimm to kill me, because he still can, despite our extremely high armor values. And he froze me. You always want to have turbo on hand, break out of a freeze. What you want to do is, yeah, sort of bounce them above you, then just bump into them over and over again. With a slightly luckier collision, we could have one-shot Mr. Grimm by now. Instead, I relied on him to kill himself, using his own dropped axe. Humiliating. Oh, I do not have the correct window selected. I'm doing this on emulator for absolutely no reason. And I will attempt to play this on actual consoles at some point. Just for the sake of argument, this is not a game where load times make a huge difference. So playing on actual console, even though I do not have the optimal console, which is PS2, it's not going to wreck me that badly as far as my times. Not that they're going to end up being especially competitive regardless. Thumper is a big risk. Is that special? I find myself overturning. Leading to a lot of awkwardness. I'm also probably going to attempt using other vehicles in the speedrun, even though Warthog is absolutely dominant. I could even attempt speedrunning the PC version, which is effectively a different video game, though it would definitely be a different category, which no one in the world has submitted a single time yet. So, automatic world record, if you're into that sort of thing. Also, my splits are arguably a little inaccurate right now. I'm gonna have to go through and delete the first two splits, because I am not used to splitting whilst playing Twisted Metal 1. And that's my own fault. Mr. Grimm is getting me, but there's a stream of mines right in the middle of the road that he has to drive through. Because he's an AI. Follows AI rules. Now he's just going to drive away from me. Not quickly enough to avoid a bunch of fire missiles. Getting Mr. Grimm out of the way is always nice. Crimson Fury should be an easy kill. And the enemies they selected for Warthog are somehow universally very weak low armor enemies. We worked out during my full playthroughs of this game that the enemies are probably chosen algorithmically based on the vehicle you select's location in the list of characters. And it just so happens that Warthog is by a bunch of extremely weak vehicles that die very, very quickly if you bump into them. There's another reason Warthog is simply too good for this speedrun category. Darkside, I don't know how effective grinding in Darkside's face is going to be. I know trying to use a shield input is not going to be very effective. That suddenly has occurred to me. Moments too late. Now, I did watch a speedrun of this game just to see the sort of strategies that are employed. You don't make nearly as many pit stops for health, because there are ways to ram opponents that barely damage your own vehicle in the process. Just due to the weird way that collision works in this game. Worked pretty well, though. And low enough health that I could probably stop in here. We're playing a little safe. We just got to get some times on the books. And unfortunately, some of those times are screwed. But I have the recording. I can even go back and correct my incorrect splits. My split is that robust. hearing some dark side slander in chat. Dark side is still a vehicle that I love. I would even try speedrunning as dark side, but I don't think it would be very effective. It's effective in Twisted Metal Black, as the aforementioned doll mask from the last run has world record on hard difficulty using dark side. Arguably isn't even optimal, but you're that good at the game, it barely matters. Take that, Yellow Jacket. Just wasted a power missile on a corpse. I'm also using a PS4 controller, which I really gotta replace, or get a Bluetooth connector for, because the USB connector is horrible, constantly disconnects. And in light of this, I've developed a method whereby I hold the cord whilst also holding the controller, and it makes it really hard to especially hit trigger buttons. And also you have to hold the controller pretty tightly, which tires out my hands. Accidentally bumped Outlaw over me, wasting a little bit of time. And finally Mr. Grimm, who I have one-shot in the past, but so far in this run, Mr. Grimm just bounces off me, taking relatively little damage in the process. Yeah, with the inconsistency of ramming damage, Darkside becomes less viable. Maneuverability ends up being extremely important. And Warthog has suspiciously good maneuverability. Like, better than it ought to have. And high enough speed, and Warthog is just too good. I'm in the completely wrong split. I'm on River Park, you kidding me? And my splits are terrible, but we're more or less on track as of Cyberbia. I don't know what I did here. Yeah, I did not split after the arena, is what I did there. So we might have to take a second attempt after I complete this, purely for the sake of getting my splits correct. Who will win? Yep. Warthog wins by a mile. That is almost always the case. Last time I showed off Warthog, it was on hard difficulty. And I think it was my longest playthrough of Twisted Metal 1. But it completed. More than I could say for pretty much any other character I tried to play on hard difficulty. That is not going to have the thing I want. Nor will that. I always get lost in the LA River. There aren't a lot of good landmarks when you're inside. You don't want to bounce enemies over your head like I just did. You want to bump into them first, and then start spamming attacks that bounce them around to keep them in place and deal slightly extra damage. Hammerhead sort of wins when we crash into him. I have no effective strategy for dealing with him. Spooky eyes peeking out of the grate. That's a hilarious effect when it warps and twists thanks to a lack of Z-axis on the PS1. Okay. The missile pickups are right here. I did finally figure out that next to the school is the entrance that leads to where the missile pickups are. I have more missiles than I can carry. Now to actually start killing people. Another one down. You gotta watch out for enemies spinning around, because that can deal a lot of damage very quickly. Fortunately, I have a lot of damage to spend. I don't actually really know what the difference is between normal difficulty and hard difficulty the way I do now with Twisted Metal Black. And also, thank you so much, first-time chatter, for the contribution. The luck is all that matters, not the size of the contribution. Just the well wishes. I'd gladly take a penny from everyone who has ever watched anything I ever did. Outlaw trying to get away, which we can't have. To break continuity, save Outlaw from its own fate, getting hurled into space. I really gotta start getting rid of these terrible, useless weapons that I picked up mistakenly. While there's no one around, might as well just dump them. I'm having a terrible Cyberbia. And it is partially the AI's fault and largely my own fault. I will fully admit. You're supposed to get bounced my way here. There. Grim trying to turn himself into Thumper. My controls deciding that square is now the reverse button. Right in the middle of heated combat. No idea why that happened. I guess because it's the speed run, and you gotta be able to say that's never happened before at some point. Taking a death is not a big deal, however, I'm fairly certain, there's no explicitly stated rule, but I think taking a game over is disqualification for your speed run. Because at that point you have to use a password. And then you've got like a segmented run on your hands. And there's no category for segmented runs, so I'm pretty sure if you game over, that's a reset. It's also a reset on the grounds that it's going to give you such a bad time that there's no real reason to keep it going. But essentially for every game which does not have saves, just the first 4, a game over is the end of your run. Which is another reason these games are extremely marathon unsafe. A lot of runs can be killed by bad luck or anything like that. Twisted Metal runs can be literally killed. If you take too much damage, you actually cannot continue. Although I guess for marathon purposes, doing an invalid run is no big deal. Because it's ultimately just a showcase. Oh, Hammerhead, why are you in the river? Why are the physics on the river so bad? He's just gonna roll on over. We cannot really reliably ram into him. Though I believe for the speedrun there is a way to pull that off. Another thing I am not thrilled about when it comes to Twisted Metal speedrunning is that when I see a speedrun, one of my favorite things is how they play it differently from just a normal run. And in Twisted Metal, you really don't play it any differently from a normal run. A speedrun is ultimately a normal run that's really, really good. Sometimes that's impressive in a speedrun context. Just seeing someone abnormally good at the game. They're rarely, if ever, my favorite sort of speedrun. The only game in the series that I know of that has a specific speedrun strat is Twisted Metal Head On. Has an ability to one-shot... Ooh, that was close. The Cousin Eddie boss fight. For 1 frame outside of the... well, when the shield breaks for 1 frame, Cousin Eddie has 1 HP. So if you're dealing damage during that 1 frame, Cousin Eddie dies instantly. And that is a thing you would not normally do in a regular run, but in a speed run, it's a good idea. Keep bouncing enemies over myself. It's very much not the idea. Thought I had him there for some reason. Lucky he's not using his steel daggers. They wouldn't kill me, but they'd hurt. I said the maneuverability on Warthog is abnormally good, but I am disproving my own statement. Hammerhead, I could... He's following me. I don't have anything particularly good to punish him. I'll snipe him for a little bit extra damage. And now safety strats. I have barely any weaponry that I need to preserve, but I'll take what I have. And the respawn rates down here in the triangle building can be extremely good, and for some reason we're on Minion. Bye, Hammerhead. Wasn't expecting that, gotta say. But there's a speedrun strat. Yeah, Hammerhead must have fallen off, and I almost joined him. Because why not at that point? One of the best places to fight Minion is inside of the triangle building, and he seems to want me over there. I mean, I think that's where he is. I don't know why he didn't head over my way. This is not a good spot to be fighting him. Stuff like that'll happen. I am gonna break away, heal myself, and then hopefully kill him down here in the underground. How about it, big guy? Now, I'm not familiar with Minion's behavior. I've never seen him RNG me this badly. Had to be when I'm attempting a speedrun, eh? Well, now he's coming my way. We're in a good spot to deal with him. This is what I said was the ideal strategy when I did the Let's Play of Twisted Metal 1. Load up on power missiles, get right up in Minion's face, and spam power missiles. Because they actually deal appreciable damage very quickly. And that was pretty much all my power missiles, which is fine. All I gotta do is get back to him, and we will be done here. Timing ends on the congratulations screen after Minion's death. There's Minion. Coming my way. Good. It fell. right? Where are you? Is Minion driving around on the ground floor? Where is he? Okay, he somehow got above me. Whatever. That's Minion for you. I watched him fall, and then he was above me. Whatever, I say again. Ah, Twisted Metal speedruns. RNG hell. So, we're going to be grinding this game, like I said, frequently throughout the week. And clearly it'll be necessary to get a good run. And what I'll be doing is taking the run we just saw and splicing it with, not splicing, just adding to the end of it, my PB. So we'll see how my progress started and then paid off over the course of the week. Could be a disaster. Maybe this is my PB for the entire week. It's the sub 30. We hit my goal. But like I said, we'll be at it most days this week. Maybe we won't see any better RNG than both Minion and Hammerhead hurling themselves off of the rooftops. But if you're watching this on YouTube, you already know, or you can stick around to find out. Because that is how it's going up on YouTube. First try versus PB. Very, very strange. I'm gonna have to, like, review my own footage from previous runs, because I legitimately do not understand why things are turning out so differently. I feel like I'm doing everything exactly the same as always, but I'm getting terrible ram damage and way more damage on myself. That was fine. Perfectly fine. Nothing wrong with any of that. Big whiff, but we sort of expect that. I mean, my personal best doesn't get the T-bone I always go for. Good crash there. And an extreme inability to bring it home for a little while. Gotta go for the health recovery, even though it's a time loss I cannot afford so early on. Okay. Excellent follow-through, at least. Perfect time stasis. Nothing gained or lost there. Oh shit, like PC version of Mr. Crib Start. Should not have been facing you there. Like, that legitimately is not supposed to happen. I can't even see Mr. Grimm. He's so small and the textures are so busy. He is straight up invisible. I'm gonna make this one a no reset, no matter what happens. Unless I game over. Like, obviously, at that point, I don't have a choice in whether or not it's a reset. But we'll play this one to whatever gruesome end it feels like dealing me. So far, this has been a horrible freeway. And when a bad level goes badly, that's a terrible run you got going. Yeah, the enemies are literally as far away from me as they possibly could be. We're already quite a ways into the red, but that's no resets for you. Bad news. Blind once again. Good, and then Thumper should die, like, instantaneously here. Should. Hasn't. It should. There it is. So far from the worst freeway I've ever had, but still pretty bad. Here's the first level where they actually give us pickups that we can get. Oh yeah. Whoop. Weird interactions with curvature. Now I gotta run away in order to survive. And the entire back street here is utterly worthless to us. If we're back there, it is a time loss. Multi-car pile-up. Dark side causing all sorts of chaos, though. Locking up streets. These corpses are in really bad positions right now. Pit Viper wants me in this back street that is a time loss. All that's left is Grim. Probably gonna kill me. He did not kill me, somehow. Just barely did not kill me. Now Cyberbia. Maybe we'll get some kind of miracle Cyberbia where everyone just dies. Very, very quickly. Or one where I hit a tree immediately and can't move for a long time. I've really got to make a habit of bringing more weapons into Cyberbia because there actually are a lot of pickups available here, but they're in inconvenient locations. Because everything is an inconvenient location here in Cyberbia. Damn. I did want to see a bunch of enemies pile up on top of me very, very quickly. Unfortunately, they came a little too quickly. And ended up completely covered in goo from them coming too quickly, you see. I didn't even kill Pit Viper in the process. I'm not seeing a lot of the pickups that really need to be here. Where the hell even am I? Yeah, I ended up on the backside of the river. So this Cyberby has really, really turned against me. Did legitimately start out pretty good. There's Spectre, the other one who caused all these problems in the first place. Now you have paid. Fortunately, Hammerhead is one of the things that I absolutely cannot be bothered with right now. Pit Viper I could kill very easily. But she's nowhere near as close as she seems. Look for that pixel. There it is. Who's left? Pit Viper, who could die instantly. Grim, who is doing a lot worse than he was a second ago. Road spikes. The worst. I mean, if any weapon from Twisted Metal 1 were to make a comeback, road spikes would be the closest thing to a good idea. Not that they actually are a good idea, but they're the least bad idea. Well... the gold split? That felt horrible. I don't know how that was a gold split, but whatever. It wasn't a big gold split, that's for sure. The fact that I was already slightly in the red means even that gold split doesn't take us too far. And everyone fell down? No, Spectre's still up here with me. Nice of you to stick around. Now please die. I've asked very nicely, and yet, thank you. We're all going out to the main rooftop. Any number of them could fall off the building and die. Not so far, though. I've had an extremely good track record with Hammerhead falling off. Oh, there goes Roadkill. I just really got to get rid of Hammerhead, who is the one that I wish would fall off because he takes twice as long to kill as Roadkill. So many resources. Precious, precious resources. I need for Minion. Look at the horrible spot Hammerhead's put himself in. I hate it so much. But whatever, something's got to balance out Warthog. It's the best vehicle in the game, and it gets dealt the easiest opponents throughout the game. And yeah, now it's an uphill battle. I really profoundly do not have enough weapons to kill Minion. Especially not if I were to hurl myself over the edge. He's in a bad spot, I'm in a bad spot. He's in a profoundly bad spot. I hate everything he's doing right now. It is extremely costly. Do something that makes sense. Alright. That's... okay. Against all odds, sub 15 minutes. A goal has been achieved. Oof, that did not feel like a PB, but I'll take it. Thank you so much, Blast Iron. Makes me feel better about the fact that that was a really ugly, gritty personal best. But it hits our goal. And we are on legitimate console here. Look at that. A PS3, can you believe it? Which cost me like 20 seconds on top of just playing it. Pretty much every other game is a sub 30 goal. Sub 15 was only the goal here because this is a much smaller scale game. Yeah, in a lot of ways, this is the official Twisted Monday. And whatever playthrough I feel like doing is bonus content. It's sort of the opposite of how I was doing last season. Because I feel like I needed to switch things up. And they're pretty switched. Okay. Goal accomplished. We're doing great. The speedrun variant of Twisted Monday is something of a success so far. Thank you for joining me. I've been Fiendly, and I thank you for watching Twisted Monday, I guess. See you around. Have a good one.